early 49ers training camp trends. CB, LB groups look fierce, DE already an issue. That's how the San Francisco 49ers look at their training camp practices. They structure them in 4-day segments. The first day is light practice, the next a medium-intensity practice. On the third day, they have a jog-through, which is new to the summer schedule this year, followed by their most rigorous practice of the segment.
Fruit flies taking over your kitchen? This discreet plug-in trap uses light to attract flying insects, then captures them on a replaceable adhesive cartridge, without noisy zapping or messy sprays. Want to get the best verified deal and see full details? Visit grabdeal.us/one right now.
On the fifth day, there's a league-mandated Players' Day off. Advertisement, so what can be gleaned from the first 2 segments that included 6 full-speed practices? Here are some standouts, trends, and trouble spots. Plenty of dogs at cornerback. The most impressive position to begin training camp is the cornerbacks. Thanks to newcomers Jack Jones, Nate Hobbs, and rookie Ephesians Prysock, it's a deep group. And it's a group that's being allowed to play to its feisty strength. The biggest critique of San Francisco's defense in recent years is that it's been too static and predictable. Robert Sale, who implemented the system in 2017, preferred to keep things simple because he wanted his players to be fast and aggressive. That was fine when the 49ers had a virtual all-star cast along the line of scrimmage. But whenever that talent has waned, see. The 2025 season, the lack of versatility has become problematic. Which is where new defensive coordinator Raheem Morris comes in. For one, he's built a reputation for marrying schemes to personnel. And 2, his background is with defensive backs, which hasn't always been an emphasis on the line and linebacker-focused 49ers. Morris was a safety at Hofstra and has been an NFL defensive backs coach with Tampa Bay, Washington, and Atlanta. The result is that, for the first time in a decade, 49ers offensive players are seeing major differences in practices, including 5-man fronts and ever-changing coverages. He gives us all these different kinds of looks, and the shell's always changing, quarterback Brock Purdy said last month. Raheem's done a good job with, I think, trying to disguise things against the quarterback, but also the techniques that the DBs are playing with now, too. That's a whole other thing. A more aggressive style of cornerback play has been apparent in the first few practices. It's a style that seems to fit starters Diamador Lenoir, Renardo Green, and Upton Stout, all of whom see themselves as dogs on defense. Well, Lenoir sees himself as a hyena, which is dog-like. Advertisement, it's just being able to get attached to guys or being able to contest catches, make plays, challenge receivers more, Green said last week. That's what Morris wants, and that fits us. That's the type of ball players we are. Which linebackers do they cut? If the cornerback group is 1A, the linebackers are 1B+. Having Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw in the middle of the action boosts the confidence of the entire defense. And 2025 third-round pick Nick Martin gives the 49ers an element of speed at strong-side linebacker they haven't had since Aziz Al-Shaair manned the position. Martin mostly plays strong side, although he steps in at weak side, an every-down role when Greenlaw needs a break. Which is to say, if Greenlaw has to miss a game this season, the starting linebackers would be Warner and Martin. The unit is also impressive beyond the top 3. Tatum Bethune is proven, Garrett Wallow is extremely active and aggressive, and rookie Jadon Duggar is the most physically gifted of the bunch. The coaches have also been impressed by undrafted rookie Larry Worth, a college safety who's converting to linebacker. Worth is tall, smart, and carries himself like a leader. He might not make the 53-man roster, but he seems like someone to keep around for further development. The other linebackers are Luke Gifford, a special teams Pro Bowler last season, and Jalen Graham, whose versatility is similar to that of Duggar. Defensive end is particularly threadbare. Defensive end was the team's weakest position last season, and it somehow looks even worse now. Injuries have already taken out Romelo Height, Kayan White, Cameron Sample, and others from one or more practices. And it's not like any of them were sack monsters last season. White finished with 1.5 and Sample had 2. Height, who's already missed time with cramps and an elbow issue, is a third-round rookie. Advertisement: the good news is that Nick Bosa is ramping up to full speed and should join team sessions in the coming weeks. It's also notable that second-year player Michael Williams looks trim as he continues to rehab from his 2025 knee surgery on a side field. Williams might be able to rejoin practice at the end of the month, though his availability for Week 1 remains murky. McCaffrey's burst is back. Can he keep it? Tailbacks are supposed to fall off a cliff after they turn 30, and Christian McCaffrey, who reached that milestone June 7, seems extra susceptible given he had 413 touches last season, the most by an NFL player in more than a decade. But McCaffrey has looked sharp and explosive early on despite a steady workload over the first week and a half of practices. As impressive as his 2025 season was, McCaffrey had just 3 carries of 20 yards or more, the first coming in Week 11. The two players competing to be the backup tailback and thus provide McCaffrey relief during the season are injured. Jordan James has a broken rib, while third-round rookie Kalen Black is dealing with an adductor inner thigh muscle issue. Newcomer and familiar face, Deebo Samuel should help. McCaffrey was targeted 129 times in the passing game last season, a team high and the most of any NFL running back. Some of the pass plays that went McCaffrey's way last season ought to go to Samuel this year. McCaffrey, meanwhile, slewed off his recent birthday. He feels just like he did when he was 29, he joked, but noted he altered his off-season training routine. "It's not nothing," he said of reaching 30. "That's why I approach it differently than I did 7 years ago. I'm not naive enough to think you can just keep doing the same thing." Second-year players have been solid head coach Kyle Shanahan's take on a player's second season. It can go one of two ways. He can take a big leap from his rookie year, like George Kittle, who went from a solid 515 receiving yards in 2017 to an astounding 1,377 yards the following season. Advertisement, on the other hand, sometimes the player relaxes a bit in year 2, and there's a bit of a backslide, which might have occurred with Green last season. This year's sophomore class looks strong early on. Martin 3rd round, Stout 3rd, Mark Sigel 5th round, and guard Connor Colby 7th round are in position for either starting or prominent roles when the season begins. Receiver Jordan Watkins, 4th, is healthy and has been getting a lot of targets in practice. When his rib injury heals, James 5th will resume his battle with Black. The question marks are Williams 1st and Alfred Collins 2nd, who have yet to practice in full in camp. Collins, who is recovering from shoulder surgery, has been going through individual drills so far and should get more work over the next segment of practices. Position battles are already fizzling when we previewed the 49ers training camp battles last month. The theme was that there were more and more consequential battles than during the ho-hum summer session last year. After just a few practices, however, the competition doesn't look so hot. Injuries to receiver Christian Kirk, calf, defensive tackle Grayson Halton, knee bruise, safety Malik Mustafa, hamstring. James and Black have taken the air out of some would-be battles. And at left guard, Colby appears to be solidly ahead of Robert Jones, who's working with the second-team unit. He looks like a completely different player from his rookie year, when guys come in kinda big-eyed and trying to figure it out. Offensive tackle Colton McKivitz said of Colby on Thursday. He understands it a little more, is playing a little faster. You see he's put on a little weight, too. He looks good. Even the team's punting battle appears to be in jeopardy. If the 49ers suffer a few more injuries, they might not have the luxury of having a pair of punters, Corliss Waitman and Jack Baumeister, on their 90-man roster. But hey, at least the battle for no. Look for quarterbacks Curtis Rourke and Adrian Martinez to get the bulk of the preseason snaps beginning next week against the Tennessee Titans.